everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie and this is all about my life after gastric bypass surgery. And today's video is all about weight loss expectations. How much weight are you going to lose and how fast are you going to lose it? A little housekeeping out of the way first and foremost. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and supporting my journey, supporting watching these videos and the information that I'm trying to get out about my experience with this and the research that I've done. If you're not a subscriber, I please ask that you consider subscribing if you like this content. Like the video, share it with your friends, ring the little notification bell so you get notified every time a new video of mine is posted. But more importantly, comment and let me know what type of information you would like me to post about and do some research on, and I would love to keep putting out content for you guys that you're interested in. Today's video is all about weight loss expectations, and this is something that I see posted time and time again, not just by new people online and in comments who are, thinking about going through this process or just did it and they want to know what to expect, but by people who've been going through it for a while and they're wondering if they're on track, if they're doing things right. So there's so much involved with people wanting to know what to expect when it comes to weight loss after a weight loss surgery procedure. Now, of course, on my channel, I am mostly focused around gastric bypass because that's what I had. I do share information about both the VSG vertical sleeve gastrectomy surgery as well as the RNY bypass, which is what I got, because those are the two most common procedures. They are not the only ones. There's definitely information out there for other procedures, for other things if you're interested in those, but those are the two that I'm going to focus on for this video. And there is a slight difference between the two surgeries when you're looking at weight loss expectations. Now, the statistics do vary in terms of what to expect in a long-term weight loss situation for these surgeries. And although there are some slight variations, there is some steady, genuine information there for both of these surgeries. Depending on the source that you look at, with the VSG sleeve, you can expect to lose between 50 and 70% of your excess weight. And with the RNY bypass, it is a little bit higher at 60 to 80% excess weight loss. And I've mentioned this before, but excess weight loss is when you take basically what your goal weight, what you should weigh based on either your doctor's recommendations or the BMI chart or whatever source you want to use. And whatever you weigh now, if you subtract that ideal weight from that total, you get the excess weight, which is pretty obvious, right? The amount of extra weight that you have on your body. So I'll use me as an example. So my surgery weight the day before surgery was 344 pounds. And if you look at the BMI charts, the maximum that somebody my height should weigh is 145 pounds. So I'm going to use that just as a reference. I'm going to choose the maximum of that scale, right? So if I subtract 145 from 344, we get 199 pounds. So my excess weight is 199 pounds. Essentially 200 pounds is what I've always said. Now, when we're talking about weight loss from these surgeries, we're looking at a percentage of your excess weight. I think there is a misconception and an idea, and I don't know where it came from, but there's this idea that weight loss surgery will help you lose all of your excess weight. And if you don't reach your goal weight or the weight that your BMI says that you should be, or what your doctor wants you to be, that you have failed with the weight loss surgery. And that's absolutely not correct. But depending on your surgery, we're looking at 50 to 80% of your excess weight loss. So if you were looking to lose 125 pounds total and you only lost 100, it does not mean that you failed. It does not mean that you need an extra surgery. It does not mean that things didn't work for you. Statistically speaking, the surgery is really only going to give you a percentage of that loss. The rest of it does have to come from you, which puts us in the same situation as we've been in before, right? Where we have to lose the weight on our own. And that's why everybody calls this a tool. It is a tool to help you to make that easier, but there is still going to be a lot of that has to come out of you. That being said, everything is a spectrum, right? So you have some people who lose way less than what they're intending to. And sometimes that happens. There can be so many different reasons for that. I can't even begin to go into them. Perhaps it could be another video, but there could be so many reasons why you might not hit that target weight loss. On the other end of things, there are some people that just lose tons of weight, and the surgery alone gets them to their goal weight, and they hadn't really had to put in that extra time and effort with maybe their last 20-25 pounds. So there really is a spectrum here. And that's the biggest takeaway with this video today, is that you're going to hear people say all the time that you can't compare yourself to other people. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's body is different. And every time you try to compare your weight loss with someone else's, it's just going to make everything muddier and more complicated and potentially make you upset if you're not hitting what you think you should be hitting. So although I have statistics and some generalizations in this video, I do want to emphasize first and foremost that it is really hard to know what your body is going to do until you're doing it, because everybody reacts differently, and there's going to be a huge spectrum when it comes to how fast people are losing weight and how much they're losing. One of the biggest factors for this is what your starting weight, your starting BMI is. I feel like it's pretty common knowledge, but maybe not as much as it's just something I've always been told and I've always known. But the more weight you have, the easier it is to lose. And I don't mean that in a way that's like, oh, you can do this yourself and it's really like super easy to lose weight. No, it's not easy to lose weight. But what I mean by that is that very small changes make a very big difference the heavier you are. If you've ever watched something like My 600-Pound Life, you'll see that very, very small changes in somebody's diet and lifestyle can lead to an 80-pound loss in a very short amount of time. When we're talking about that much extra weight, it is very easy for your body to start dropping that. The closer you get to your ideal weight or your weight goal, the harder that's going to be. So people who start out getting their surgery at a higher BMI are going to likely see faster weight loss. There are tons of people out there who are going to get their surgery with a starting weight that is my current weight. And those people are going to see a very big difference in how fast and how much weight they lose versus me when I started at 374 pounds. You can see this pattern also when you're talking to people about their pre-op diet. If you look at just the pre-op diet, when everyone has the same guidelines and the same things that they're following, and you see some people struggle to lose weight at all, and other people lose 30, 40, 50 pounds. Some of it is how disciplined and how strict you are, but a lot of it really has to do with your starting weight. That's one of the biggest things to keep in mind when you are looking at your journey. If you're trying to compare it to other people, if you're trying to see if you're along the lines of other people, keep in mind that if you do compare yourself with someone else, you might want to make sure that you're looking at their stats as well. If their starting stats are very different than yours, then it's apples and oranges, right? You're both fruit, but it's not really going to tell you all that much information, is it? Another thing I see time and time again is people saying that they're in the slow losers club, or they're losing weight really slowly, they're in the turtle club, whatever you want to call it, for them saying basically that they're barely losing any weight and it's really slow. Sometimes people are okay with this, other times people are really frustrated by it. But the biggest problem that I see is what that expectation of a fast weight loss is. When people are losing 10 to 15 pounds a month, but they say that they're a slow loser, we have a huge problem, because a lot of people are looking at posts and comments and videos about that subject and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm losing slow too. 10 to 15 pounds a month is phenomenal weight loss. In fact, it way exceeds what is considered a safe and healthy weight loss by most medical sources, including the CDC. Most sources in the CDC will recommend 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week. That is a safe and steady pace to lose weight in which you won't run into some major complications. The statistics are higher that you'll keep it off. You'll have less issues with loose skin, muscle loss, potential gallbladder issues. And really, honestly, the big one is the statistics show that if you lose weight at a faster pace than that, you're much more likely to gain it back again. Now, we're in a kind of a different ball field when it comes to weight loss surgery. One, there's very little chance that 1 to 2 pounds a week is all you're going to experience, at least for the first 6 or 9 months after weight loss surgery. Our calorie intake is extremely limited by the nature of this surgery. Either you're getting 80% of your stomach removed, or it's getting chopped in half and you've got just a small pouch left. In either case, the nature of this surgery is to require less calories coming in. And by a calories in, calories out mindset, you're going to lose weight. And because it is so severely limited, you're going to lose weight pretty fast. So if you're losing weight at the recommended 1 to 2 pounds a week, you're looking at 4 to 8 pounds maximum a month, which again is the safe and recommended weight loss. Now, I'm not saying that going through weight loss surgery is not safe, but again, we're in a different ballpark here. But the fact is that most people after weight loss surgery in the first 60 to 90 days are losing probably 1 to 2 pounds a day. But I think there's this expectation that that is going to continue the entire time, I guess for the rest of your life until you reach your goal weight, that you'll lose a pound a day. And I see a lot of people get frustrated that they stop losing a pound a day, but after 90 days, after 3 months, you're really not probably going to be losing 1 to 2 pounds a day anymore. But you can expect 2 to 3 pounds a week steady up to about 6 months after surgery. And just from my experience alone, that is very similar to what I experienced. After 6 months, I noticed that my 3 pounds a day steady was definitely starting to waver a little bit, and it would go back and forth, and I'm now no longer consistently losing 3 pounds a week. You're expected to really reap the most benefits from your surgery for up to 12 to 18 months after surgery. So a year and a half after surgery, you may very well be at the point where you notice that it is much harder for you to lose weight. Ideally, you've lost 50 to 80% of your excess weight by that point. And the last bit of weight that you have to lose, you just have to try a little bit harder for. And that goes right along the lines of things getting much easier for people after surgery. After the 1 year mark, you can likely eat more. You can likely eat more often. Things probably don't affect you the same way as they did early on surgery. Things do change. And so it's important to be very mindful of that, because once you start reaching that 12, 18 month period, you really need to be making sure that you've got it in your hands. And that's why it's so important to be working on these habits and these mindsets and everything throughout this whole process, because you don't want to get to that point and then suddenly have to work on that. It's so much harder. On top of everything, like I always do, I am going to mention the mental health side of this journey. Despite all of the expectations for how much weight you're going to lose and how fast you're going to lose it, despite all of the mini goals that you might set yourself, everything that happens along the way, good and bad, the fact of the matter is that this is a mental health journey way more than it is a physical eating journey. If you don't work on the mental health side of things, then you're going to have a really bad time.
Just a few safety things to keep in mind. First of all, look straight ahead when you ski. If you look down, you're gonna fall. You're gonna have a bad time. Also, be aware of skiers around you. If you run into another skier, your skis are gonna cross, gonna have a bad time.
Check your expectations at the door. Without any knowledge of what's actually going to happen, the more disappointed you're going to be in yourself for something that might not be your fault at all. And if you have unrealistic expectations going into this, then it doesn't matter how amazing that you're going to do, you are always going to be disappointed in yourself. And that has nothing to do with what you're eating, how much you're working out, what kind of food you're tracking. All of that is in your brain. And all of that is something that can be managed by you, your thoughts and your expectations. I ran into somebody a few months ago who was extremely disappointed that she had only lost 20 pounds her first month after surgery. I tried to ask her what her expectations were, but she was so disappointed and so upset with herself that she didn't even really have anything that she could lend to a conversation about it. And there was certainly nothing that I could say that was going to make her feel better. I truly think that it's a small percentage, but there are a percentage of people who go into this thinking that they're going to melt off 90 pounds in a month or two. And that's not what this is. This is probably the fastest way to lose weight of all of the options that we have. It is not easy, as many of you know. You can't entirely avoid hard work when it comes to this. We didn't gain 90, 100, 200 extra pounds overnight, and we certainly aren't going to be able to lose it overnight. My best advice is also the hardest, which is to just try to not have any expectations and enjoy the ride, because soon you'll be almost 11 months post-op like me, and it'll feel like you blinked and suddenly you've lost 150 pounds. If I got super worried every day and every week about how much I was losing, it would have been a really, really tough 11 months. But instead, I've been able to enjoy it. And every time I hit a little milestone, and every time I do something that highlights a non-scale victory, it feels really sweet and it feels really great, rather than feeling like a disappointment that I'm not somewhere else sooner. If you're one of those people that has a really hard time just taking in data and processing it and moving on, then I really recommend that you weigh yourself way less often, because this isn't about the scale. It really is about the process. And if you check those expectations at the door and you just kind of enjoy it for what it is and you put your all into it, you're going to find that you're extremely happy with what you have on the other side. Even if you're like me and you still technically have 77 pounds left before you're at your BMI goal. So thanks so much for watching. I know this was another video that is a little bit hard to swallow, and sometimes I say things that people don't really want to hear. And for that, there's nothing I can do. But for those of you who aren't really sure what to expect, or just wanted a general guideline, I hope this gives you some information to go off of and maybe a helpful bouncing off point from this point on. If you liked this video and you like the content that I'm putting out, please hit the like button and comment and let me know so that I know what type of information and what type of videos you guys like seeing. And make sure to stay happy, healthy, look at the big picture, and try to enjoy the journey along the way. See you guys in the next one.